Hi, welcome to the Catholic Corner. I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. African-American Archbishop of Chicago, Francis Cardinal George, wrote a beautiful pastoral letter on racism called Dwell in My Love. Here's a little excerpt from that wonderful letter. One form of human division, conflict, and fragmentation is racism, personal, social, institutional, and structural. Racism mars our identity as a people, as a human race, made in the image and likeness of our God. One way to help overcome racism and the divisions that are created by racist actions is to promote understanding of the different cultures and appreciation of our differences. In 2007, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops set priorities which included the recognition of our cultural diversity. In their book titled Building Intercultural Competence for Ministers, they state this: proficiency in matters of culture and intercultural relations is an essential feature of the ongoing process of conversion by which the gospel becomes life for its people. My guests today work. I use that word work because I think it's their heart also to do just that, to promote this appreciation of the beauty of our differences by promoting intercultural competence. Deanna Sass is a longtime friend and a wonderful, wonderful minister. She's commissioned lay ecclesial minister for our diocese and is currently our director of the Diocesan Department of Multicultural Ministry. For over the past 25 years and maybe even longer, Deanna has also served as director of the Diocesan Office of Pastoral Care and various parish-based and Catholic school ministries. Deanna and I worked together at St. Paul's in Princeton for quite a while, and I still appreciate her love and the work that she gave us and the guidance that she gave our people. Deanna recently established a part-time private practice in psychotherapy, pastoral counseling, and spiritual direction in her beloved Princeton. Welcome, Deanna.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Senior. Happy to be here.
God love you. Sandra Lopez, an administrative assistant and office manager with the Department of Multicultural Ministry. Sandra was formerly an administrative assistant with the Hispanic Apostolate of our own diocese. And before that, she worked in a beautiful parish, St. Joseph's in Trenton. And I know that parish very well and still remember with great fondness one of your beautiful pastors, Father Bill Daly. I even choke when I mention his name. Sandra is a catechist now at St. Mary's Cathedral and is preparing to become a spiritual director at the Francis House of Prayer. Sandra has a greater understanding for this topic than most of us because she's lived it. Sandra came to our country from Guatemala with her husband when she was only 19 years old. Still a kid, I guess. I don't know, but that's all right. 19 is a good age. She lived now in New Jersey for 27 years, and she and her husband have raised 3 beautiful sons, all born here. They're now 19, 23, and 25. They grow quick, huh, Sandra? Welcome, both of you, for coming to the Catholic Corner with your vast blessedness of God's gifts in your heart. Deanna, you know, our church, our Catholic Church, I understand is the most culturally diverse religion and institution in the world. That's awesome.
That is.
How about some of the reasons for that?
Because the church is a big welcome sign, and it is for all people of good faith who want to be close to God. And it is a come one, come all. So the church is the most universal. As a matter of fact, we know the word Catholic means universal. And it is non-discriminating, and it is open arms and open doors. For that reason, you know, it is a faith for all people, and being as welcoming and as hospitable as it is, many come and find that to be their spiritual home and the faith tradition of choice. So we're very blessed to have, literally, you're correct, it is the most diverse institution, the Catholic Church, on the earth. There is no other corporation, organization, or institution of greater diversity. So we are a blessed quilt of many colors and many languages and many cultures, ethnicities, and that is where our richness lies.
And we're proud of that, but yet we're humbled by that.
Absolutely.
In fact, if my old catechism mind still remember when I was a kid, one holy, Catholic, and apostolic. I mean, that's no matter where we go, the language might be different, and maybe we sing differently or clap differently in a sense, but you know, it's one heart, one way, and it's a beautiful expression.
It's actually part of our definition. When you say one holy, Catholic, apostolic, it's how we define ourselves as universal.
Now, how does that compare when we look at our own diocese, which is, I would say, a microcosm in a sense of the entire church, because all dioceses are? Our diocese portrays that?
Absolutely. There are more diverse places. The Archdiocese of Los Angeles will have Mass in hundreds of languages on any given Sunday. In the Diocese of Trenton, we have Mass in 10 languages. So to give you a comparison, we certainly do not have maybe as much diversity as far as coming from as many different places, but our numbers, diversity-wise, are large, and our people are strong, and their presence is known. The various communities that we have, the 8 or 9 different cultural communities that make up our diocese are very present.
You know, Deanna Insider, one of the great Eucharistic celebrations I ever shared in was out in Los Angeles with the diversity of the languages and the music and actually the procession coming in different dresses. It was just an unbelievable experience, and people came from, you know, various parts of that great city to just share in that wonderful experience.
It's
a sight to behold. It really is a beautiful thing.
Sandra and I just last weekend went to the Archdiocese of Philadelphia for a cultural heritage Mass, and it was a beautiful experience also. Very similar pageantry of costume and music and sound and sight. We enjoyed it very much, and hope to bring something like it to this diocese.
Well, let me know, and I'll
okay.
I'll come in.
We will.
The Department of Multicultural Ministry, actually, what is its purpose? Founded, how long have we had it?
It's new. We've had Bishop O'Connell founded this office 2 years ago, really as a result of the bishops' conference naming one of the priorities as cultural diversity and growing appreciation of that. And in response, this office was created to really support the work that happens in the parishes at becoming more integrated and unified communities. While we may have many differences, language, tradition, culture, but we are united in faith. And so the hope of this office is to support the parishes at helping the communities to act as one, to be as one. Not to melt away the differences. We are not looking for assimilation, we are looking for integration, where the many parts come together with their unique attributes, but to work as one unified community of faith. So we support that in many different ways. Actually.
You know how I see it so beautifully? You know, we always talk about the covenant of God with us. I'll be your God, you'll be my people. And you know what? When I look at the people from various cultures, they always respond, you know, again, differently in a way, but they respond with that same covenant idea that they'll be God's people.
Absolutely.
And that they love each other, even though I think in the microcosm of their families, it's all the same all over the world.
True.
If we could only capture that, we'd be so much at peace,
You're right.
wouldn't we? Huh?
You're right.
Wow.
And their love for the church is strong in each and every community.
Absolutely.
The love for the church, the love for God.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think the family is that's what marriage. That's why it's a sacrament. You
Absolutely.
know, it's the sign of what God gave us. Sandra, tell me a little bit about your own experience coming here to the United States. You know, when you were 19, and I don't know. Did you know the culture? Did you know the language? You just come here and say, oh, "God, I'm here."
No, that was in part was easy for me because my grandparents and uncles and cousins live here. When we came to the USA, and I always hear about the culture, and I like the culture, the organization, the punctuality, and the traditions. Really, I enjoy them, and really I like the culture. That was easy for me in that sense, but really we miss my family, my parents.
Sure.
Yes, and all the traditions we have in Guatemala. We have many traditions there, and we miss that at the time. That was the more difficult part, even the language, also the language. That was one of the things we struggled with that because when we want to order food at the time or speak anything, and we couldn't. I said, oh my God, and we went to order some food and they don't understand. Even we try our best. We study a basic English in Guatemala, but it's not enough. We didn't practice over there the sound or the pronunciation, and that was hard.
Of course, we even
Like the
say things
language.
differently from Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. Everybody's got their own little idioms, and all you gotta do is
True.
point and say, "I'll
Take one of
give me
those.
one of those." Oh,
Yes, Paul.
yeah.
Like that.
And then you have to
Yeah.
say, you know, well, I like this. you know.
Right.
Yes.
God, that is so terrific, though. But you know, religiously, I mean, you come from a Catholic family in Guatemala, Catholic tradition,
Yes.
and you come to your faith here. How did you see that? Was it easy to walk into, say, a church here, or were you accepted very, very easily and well?
No, after some years.
years.
My grandparents were members of St. Mary's Cathedral, and we went there for Mass. But my family is very active in Guatemala in the parish, and I miss that part because just we went to Mass and that's all. But over there, I was in the youth choir, a youth group, and I be a catechist there too, and I miss that ministry is here. But after some years, I went to the rectory to register my son for CCD, and a priest there asked me. I was a little bit worried because I went one week later, and I said, oh my God. But when I went there and I received the welcome of the priest, and he said, oh no, don't worry. We need your child, and we need catechists too. When I heard those words, I said, wow.
Nice.
And I said, I would like to help as a catechist, and I gave him my telephone number and name. And the next day they called me, and since 2001, I've
Haven't
been
stopped
there.
since.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what
made
happens.
me-
You give your
That
name and
is.
phone number to the priest or the pastor or something. You know, you're there then. God bless. That is so beautiful. There's the Multicultural Ministry Priest Liaison Council. Now, that's a little new. Tell me about that, and how did that start, and what's the purpose of that?
Yeah, there is priests have been appointed to represent each of the major cultural groups in our diocese. The bishop made the appointments, and they are serving really as a way to connect those communities to the diocese. So they would report into the Department of Multicultural Ministry to let us know.
yourselves and-
Yeah, we convene with Terry Ginther, who is the Director of Planning and Mission, who meets with all of us and with the liaisons, and then we can learn where particular things are coming up that may be of interest to people to attend, different cultural celebrations, liturgies, as well if there are any concerns in any of the communities, anything that we could support or help in any way. So it sort of connects us to those communities because we can't be everywhere, but these priests are key people who are serving in the communities. And they make the connection to the diocese so we can be the most supportive possible.
Do they connect with each other too, or is it more or less just their own culture being integrated with say the American culture or whatever happens to be? I mean, how does that get assimilated with each other? Or what are the problems? I mean, I'm just thinking that I guess there's different little concerns.
That is a good question. In general, at this point, still it seems to be the cultures remain with one another. But some bridges are being built. When we have The Philippines have a beautiful tradition around Christmas time. We opened that up and through our office promoted it to more and more, to all of the people in the diocese. And they said that there were more non-Filipinos there this year than any other year, so that people are showing an interest in learning about the different activities in the different cultures. We had an experience at the Eucharistic Congress where we brought in actually artistic presentations, dance and song of a multicultural nature at the Congress. And what an experience that was. The group of people of every culture that attended that and got to see Ukrainian and Polish and African and Irish and Hispanic from several different countries, and all of these beautiful Portuguese presentations, and Haitian, Korean, Philippine, beautiful presentations from around the world. Everyone, bar none, who attended that said that was such a rich experience of the body of Christ. They just were overcome at the beauty, at the richness that each of these different groups brought. And so in that way, that was one small way that a lot of people were exposed to many different cultures. And we're trying to do more and more of that so that it's not just always a homogenous group that attends each of their own kind of celebrations. We're trying to do more crossbreeding so people can witness and see and enjoy. As Cardinal George said, it's breaking down the barriers by sharing experiences, by coming together. What was your impression of the Congress and that dance and the song fest? Did you?
Yeah, there was beauty to see all the gifts that every culture brings and share with all of them. That was very nice experience. And we are learning. We are learning.
We are.
We're learning to be brothers and sisters.
Be brothers and sisters.
Really to be brothers and sisters.
That is true.
I noticed that sometimes a parish will have not just a liturgical experience, the Eucharist or so, but then maybe afterwards they might invite the people, from to bring all the different foods
Definitely.
that they might, share in their own homes, and the different cultures. I just love to hear. Sometimes at weddings they have different little cultures that also say, gee, that's really beautiful. That's a sign of their bonding that maybe we don't think of all the time.
Yes.
Or maybe sometimes even the food. I think there are some cultures that break bread and pass it and then maybe wish something for or bless somebody for a blessing. It's just a marvelous way of thinking.
The Indian tradition of wrapping the shawl around both the husband and wife, and different things that we can learn from each other.
And thank God, because it's prayer.
Yes.
It all becomes prayer then. Isn't that a nice way for us to
true.
live that? Now, you mentioned some of the languages. Any other languages that you can think of that are in part of our
Oh,
diocese?
yes, absolutely. Every Sunday in the Diocese of Trenton, we have Mass in Spanish, Polish, Portuguese, Italian, Korean. We have it in Vietnamese, Slovakian, Latin, and English.
Wasn't that beautiful, huh?
Isn't that amazing?
Now, how can somebody find out about that? Is there a way that they can tap into?
There is. The website for the Department of Multicultural Ministry is very easy to remember. It's dioceseoftrenton.org/multicultural. If you go to that address, you will find all the Mass schedules for every language that Mass is offered in the diocese, and how to get there, and contact phone numbers and all. So all of the information is on our website, as well as any upcoming celebrations, events, liturgical or otherwise social, dance or music, festivals. That information is on dioceseoftrenton.org/multicultural.
So great to know that. So tell me now, you're from Guatemala. Are there differences between, help me out with the Hispanic cultures? I mean, is the people from Guatemala, say, a little different than maybe Venezuela or Colombia? Are there really some different, because even different parts of the United States have different ways of expressing some things. How about some of the Hispanic cultures that would be different?
Yes, for Christmas we have posadas, and there is a group that visit the community, their homes, and they bring the Word of God and share them. It's like the journey that Jesus and Mary made to
Now, is that true of all of the Hispanic cultures, or is that maybe just
from Guatemala? From Guatemala, especially from Guatemala.
Okay.
And we know in Mexico, Our Lady of Guadalupe is a
Guadalupe.
very central
Yes.
celebration, and
That,
on her feast day.
that's spreading too through all of
Yes.
the Hispanic cultures, I think.
Yes,
although,
it is.
Although
It is,
certainly
and,
Mexico.
and more, even to the Anglo Catholics are learning to appreciate that spiritually and celebration-wise.
You know what's so beautiful about the Diana and Sandra? I had this experience because I was down there a long, long time ago, and a little boy, a little Mexican boy, came up to me, and I guess he just saw me like looking, and he said, Mister, he said, can I explain to you all of the different, the dress of the Blessed Mother? Which, of course, I'm looking at it just like, and now all of a sudden the symbolism is all Mexican, and how a young woman who was going to have a child would wear a certain bow, and I said, oh my gosh, that was so beautiful,
Wow.
so beautiful, and
What
and again we just learned from each
There
other.
was a cultural interchange right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How precious, precious.
What is the USCCB doing for our church to help embrace and integrate this diversity that we have?
Yeah, there is a Secretariat for Cultural Diversity in the church at the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, and they have put together a program that is called Building Intercultural Competence for Ministers, and it's a well thought out, well planned 5-part program that they want rolled out really in every diocese and in every parish in the United States. They have right now going on, they're at the point of training trainers. I was fortunate enough to go to that training last summer at the USCCB, along with a number of other people from all around the country. And I've begun to bring some of these workshops into the Diocese of Trenton. I started at the Chancery with the staff that work there, and the next step is going to be going out in clusters of parishes throughout the diocese to do this 5-part intercultural skills training. It's an excellent program, and the USCCB is very supportive, not supportive of it, created it and wants it really to be the program that is put out there. So we're working hard to make that happen. It's 3 parts, if you would say. It's in 5 sessions, but the 3 aspects that it puts across are knowledge, attitude, and skills. So it's trying to impart some knowledge about the different cultures and how they communicate and how the styles differ. It wants us to examine our own attitudes as far as working together with people from other cultures and some honest self-reflection. And then it gives some very practical skills, how to be more effective at working in intercultural settings. So it's a comprehensive program, quite good.
I'm going to guess at this, Deanna, in a sense that with all of that, it's the being together. It's the kind of, we can do all the stuff up here.
Your pastoral instinct is excellent. That's, if you had to sum it up, that's it. You just summed up the entire program. Come together, dialogue, talk. If you don't know something about someone else's culture, ask. It's as simple and as complex as that. Right. Yes.
And and observe and be,
exactly.
and all of a sudden
be together. Yes.
I got to tell you this because a long time ago, when I was in the military, I did a little bit of training with officers from other nations, other countries, which was a marvelous gift or whatever you want to call it. And when you're out there like in the desert, there's not much to do, so you talk, you laugh, you kid. And I learned, it was a gift to me that I learned, that they got letters from their girlfriends like we got letters from our girlfriends. They loved their children like our guys loved our children. They got married. Maybe they did it a different way, but you know what? They all wanted to get married. And I said, dear God, somehow we can do this. Somehow
Absolutely.
We grow closer and closer. And but it's the living together. I think it's the sharing. It's the experience.
Sharing the stories. As you always say, you love the stories. That's what brings people together. Tell me about your journey from another country. I know the story of my grandparents' journey from their country, and you know the story. And we share our stories, and we find out that we have much in common.
And you know what? I take that story, and then, because it's Easter time, I say that's the same story as us going back to the resurrection, because, you leave one shore, there are tears in someone's eyes, go to the other shore, and they're clapping. And somehow I think that's heaven and earth all the time.
Perfect. Yeah.
So we do all of those things. Tell me about, how are you both drawn into this ministry? I mean, I think some come naturally, some come with because you have gifts and the bishop needs people. How are you drawn into this ministry? Sandra?
How would you say? Started as a catechist at St. Mary's, it sounds like.
Probably because just of your family. You know, just the children are part of your ministry and part of bringing it.
Sandra has shared her story, some parts of her story with me. Her love of God is so great that she just wants to serve the church, and it's a natural fit for her to do so through the Hispanic community. And now she has adopted, you know, all of the faith, all of the cultures as her own, and really knows how to serve and love all people. She's my role model. She's a beautiful, beautiful witness.
I think you're role models for each other.
Aw.
You know?
Yeah, because
And understand this, you know, folks like yourself are blessings to priests too. You know, we really are graced by your love and the love of church, and you teach us so much that maybe as long as we pay attention and watch and
It
smile
goes both
with
ways,
God, you know, and
Monsignor.
smile with God.
It goes both
and
ways.
just I would like to add that Diana is a role model for me too. Really, she's an
Sandra.
inspiration for
that
me.
is so terrific. And yourself, you've been in ministry for so long, I think, and have just brought God's love in so many different
You
ways.
can't be in ministry and not be in multicultural ministry. It's
Isn't that
just been a
true?
part of it from the beginning, and the part I've always loved. I just always enjoy all people and just find it
You know
just
what I
thrilling.
found so beautiful recently? With our new Holy Father Francis.
Yes.
I mean, spontaneously I was thrilled. But I just,
Same.
every place I go, different cultures, different people have even stopped me, you know, and said, what, you know, different cultures have said, what do you think about Holy Father? And you know what? What's your experience of the Holy Father Francis and the different cultures?
Well, it's certainly a sign of the times. The population of Spanish-speaking Catholics is the fastest growing, as we know. And so how appropriate that the leader of this church would reflect that change. It's appropriate, it's beautiful, and it's exhilarating for everyone. And it's most especially, I think, for those from the Latin American countries and Spanish countries, because
You know what I thought was just
it's an
absolutely-
affirmation.
absolutely beautiful. Maybe everybody knows this story, I guess. That he actually called up from Rome to Argentina to talk to his newsboy to tell him to cancel a newspaper.
Yes.
I said to myself, "Oh dear God, you know, I mean, what an expression
blessing.
of the cultures, the languages, and the newsboy said to him, 'Are you going to come back?' And he said, 'Why don't you come over?' You know? I mean, it's just such a great story.
It
you know?
is.
It's
It
just a
is.
great story. What's your hope for the future, real quick?
More dialogue, more shared experiences, more things like the intercultural masses and expos, and more chances for people to get to know one another. One of the things that the Building Intercultural program teaches us is that we have to get over our fears, our ignorance, and our guilt. They call it FIG, F-I-G. So my hope for the future is we can get past our fears, our ignorance, and our guilt and become one family of God, which we are.
Sandra, thank you so
Which we
very
are.
much. Isn't that beautiful? Let's get over and let's bless each other, pray for each other. And you know what? We're brothers and sisters.
Amen.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you,
Wow,
Monsignor.
I mean,